Well, hello. Thank you all for joining us. This is the Community Efficiency Leadership Coalition webinar series. Today, we're going to have a conversation. The topic is aligning policy and research for municipal and higher ed energy innovation. So this specific webinar is exploring how cross-sector partnerships advance energy efficiency and sustainability. We have several experts in the room with local government, academia, industry, and also your utility. And so they'll be sharing challenges, successes, and implementing these real-world energy solutions. I'm going to talk a little bit about our organization with a CELC. It's one of our programs with SPEER, South Central Partnership for Energy Efficiency as a resource. The specific program with CELC is a local governments program, supporting city energy management by facilitating sharing of best practices and energy efficiency while strengthening relationships among cities, counties, state agencies, as well as water utilities. A little bit more about SPEER. We're a nonprofit 501c3. We cover Texas and Oklahoma. We have 65 plus members. We're focused on outreach and education and collaboration on clean energy. And we have funding from several different mechanisms. And I want to say thank you to the State Energy Conservation Office for supporting us in the CELC program and the webinar series. If you want to learn more about CELC events as well as SPEER events, that includes training, policy, and outreach, feel free to go to our website and you can check us out on our calendar. Some housekeeping questions are welcome in the chat. You can use the Q&A or you can also put information in the chat. The presentations will be posted on our SPEER website, but today is going to be more of a conversation and panel. So this will be recorded and uploaded onto the SPEER YouTube channel, where we have over 200 videos, educational videos, and fantastic resources. We'll also have a survey, and if you are here to get some ICC CEUs, please respond to the survey and you'll receive your certificate within 3 days. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our moderator, Noah Oakes. He's a senior policy manager for SPEER. And we will get into the panel, and he can go ahead. And our panelists include Andee Chamberlain, the Energy and Water Conservation Manager for Utility Operations at Texas State University, Deng, who is the Technical Advisor at BeeUSA, and Hammad Chaudhry, Director of Energy Efficiency at Austin Energy. And Hammad was also on our board with SPEER. So thank you all. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let you take this over, Noah.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Well, really appreciate this opportunity to have this discussion with a kind of variety of perspectives, as Sean alluded to, from a municipal utility, from a university standpoint, as well as from industry standpoint. And so to start this off, I'd like to give each of you a little bit of latitude to talk a little bit about your organization, how it contributes to energy efficiency and promoting innovation within energy planning in Texas. And so we'll start with you, Hammad, if that's all right, and trying to determine if you could explain somehow Austin Energy uses partnerships to achieve local and regional energy goals, and how you kind of work together with all these different perspectives to kind of help promote energy efficiency.
Thank you, Noah. Good afternoon. Looks like you are in some very cold climate area. This is not this cold in Austin, so assuming you're somewhere there. Good afternoon, everyone. Hammad Chaudhry here with Austin Energy. I'm Director of Energy Efficiency Services with Austin Energy. Relatively new to Austin and Austin Energy, moving here from New England, where I used to be head of DSM for Avangrid overseeing energy efficiency programs. Same as here in Austin Energy, I oversee our energy efficiency, conservation, electrification, demand response programs. A quick intro about Austin Energy. It's a local electric utility, a proud history of 130 years of serving Austin area. But when it comes to energy efficiency, definitely our programs stand out. They have a storied history in the industry. Throughout my career in energy efficiency, I have looked look upwards to Austin Energy programs, and now it's quite an honor to lead this group over here. For example, if you think about Energy Star's home performance, that program finds its roots back in 80s from Austin Energy's program. If you think about lead and rating systems of buildings, the roots of those ratings are again from the 80s in green buildings programs started by Austin Energy. So we have a storied history around energy efficiency. I manage energy efficiency programs. Now, to answer your question, uh, I mean, partnerships are key for us to achieve our goals. And what is our goal? Our goal is to help our customers become energy efficient. Now, I have to talk a little about like how we are being assigned goals or what is our mandate here. So very recently, City Council at Austin passed Resource Generation and Climate Protection Act of Protection Plan to 2035, is essentially the plan for the electric utility. And the key focus of the plan is around prioritizing customer energy solutions, which include energy efficiency, beneficial electrification, demand response, and what have you. And the goals and the targets that are in these plans are quite they're quite aggressive, for the lack of better word. They're excellent targets. They're really big targets, meaning there's an outstanding amount of trust that City Council and City has put in Austin Energy to achieve these goals and make our community and our customers energy efficient. Now, because of the sheer size of these goals, it's something that we must work with many different partners. Basically, we need to develop an ecosystem of energy efficiency, which already exists, but we need to work on that ecosystem to get these goals. So just to get to your answer now, at high level, we work with many different partners to achieve our goals, starting with some partnerships like our local contractors, weatherization contractors, HVAC contractors. This is essentially our boots on the ground workforce. They are out there in the communities delivering our programs, helping our customers understand how to save energy, what to install, from high efficiency air conditioning and heat pumps to weatherizing the homes and facilities and so on and so forth. So that's a very important partnership, working with our local contractors. Then we need to have partnerships with manufacturers so that we can influence the design, the products being more efficient. One goal that energy efficiency programs all across the country, and especially within Austin Energy, is to transform the market, to make our society more efficient. So the more efficiency we can bring in the products, the better it is. We have excellent partnerships with implementation partners. These are the firms like Clear Results, Franklin Energies, ICFs of the world. We partner with them so that we can see what's happening in rest of the country. These firms bring us national best practices, like how they are doing programs say, in New York or in Connecticut or in Massachusetts or California, what's working, what's not working. So when we are implementing our programs, we can follow the best practices. Then there are partnerships that we need with academia. For example, with University of Texas, we have interlocal agreements. I'm really proud of this partnership, because this is through we can invest in research. Some of the good examples that come out of this partnership are our Austin Energy and University of Texas Energy Institute, where we are collaborating on grid modernization, urban heat island mapping, and climate resilience planning, and finally smart mobility and electrification pilots that we are doing through the UT Center of Transportation Research. Then finally, I'm very proud of the partnership with the SPEER, the advocacy groups. Those partnerships are very important as well, for like SPEER or Consortium of Energy Efficiency at the federal level, where we can have a voice and a voice around what's the right thing to do about energy efficiency, what good policies should be promoted. So those are very important policies. Then we have partnerships with local local organizations, for example, Housing Repair Coalition. That's one partnership where we need to get help for people whose homes are ready for weatherization, but they have issues which is stopping them from getting weatherization, such as broken windows or health and safety stuff. Through our energy efficiency programs, we generally cannot address health and safety, so we partner with these organizations such that we can get funding and help for these homeowners to repair the required items before we can weatherize. Then we have some partnerships with Habitat for Humanity, who build new houses for low-income customers. So we want to bring more efficiency there. So along those lines, there are different partnerships. It's essentially an ecosystem. And with our limited resources and storied history, we still need this ecosystem to deliver these goals that are assigned to us. So let me just stop here and see if you have any follow-up.
No, I think that's a really broad and great look at everything that Austin Energy does. SPEER, I kind of jotted down some notes here just for my own personal, remember, so I can remember. But we've worked and partnered with Austin Energy on some contractor trainings for heat pumps, for instance, in the region, which have been incredibly successful. I think we've done 2 now, and hopefully we can kind of continue those in the future. But I also think you kind of provided a really great segue to our next panelist, and Andee. As you mentioned, working with universities, and Andee has an incredible perspective working from an operations perspective and kind of using Texas State University resources to look at, how to, from the ground up, work on energy efficiency initiatives, how to almost work as almost like an incubator, if you will, on some energy efficiency projects as well. So I was hoping, Andee, if you could maybe walk us through a little bit of the day and life of you and what you guys kind of do at Texas State.
Sure. Thanks, Noah. Thanks for the introduction. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for everybody spending your afternoon hearing us talk a little bit. Yeah, so I've been at Texas State for about 3.5 years, and I joined as an energy conservation specialist and have kind of worked my way into the energy and water conservation manager position. So we've had some, everybody goes through internal changes. So we've had some internal staffing changes and administration changes, and it's amazing. It's starting to kind of settle in. I'm finally, after 3.5 years, starting to feel like I actually know what's going on. Maybe I should or shouldn't admit that, but I think it's a result of the growth. Let me back up and say our university, like a lot of universities, hospitals, we're a district energy system. So we have a couple central plants that are serving steam, hot water, and chilled water to our buildings. So it kind of is a whole different ballgame in how we approach energy efficiency. So my department is on the utility side. So we're kind of a utility service serving the buildings onto campus. And so the campus is really our customers. So I'll get to that when I talk about partnerships. But before I do that, I just want to also share how much growth Texas State has been experiencing. When I joined in 22, we had an enrollment of 38,000 students. In 24, we hit 40,000. It was actually 40,598 students. And then this last year, we have grown to 44,500 students. So just in the last few years, we are bumping up with like a goal to hit 50,000 in the next few years. And so really, I think for us, ensuring that we have enough energy to serve all of our customers and the growth of our campus is something we're really focused on. And so doing that, a lot of what I've been looking at is, building partnerships within the organization. So partnerships within facilities planning and design, so they understand, that these resources are limited, so we have to build as efficiently as possible. So those kinds of relationships that I think sometimes go siloed in organizations. Let's see, you asked about partnerships. So also with student groups and with professors, metering is a big issue because we don't have, utility grade meter, or we have utility grade meters, sorry, we don't have service meters coming from the city of San Marcos. We actually have to meter each of our buildings and meter our system. And metering can be a big challenge. And so we've been working with some professors internally to try and improve that system and add some data analytics to it. So I don't know, it's interesting, the partnerships that you can develop on a campus, because so many different disciplines kind of coming together and wanting applied learning right there on campus. So that's been pretty exciting. And we're also doing some of the more traditional stuff. We've just completed our first Lone Star loan, and we're looking at some performance contracts, and really digging into the metering. You can't manage what you don't measure, and no, that's cliche, but very true. And so that's really what we're focusing on right now. Let's see, did I cover everything you were looking for?
I think so, and it's
Cool.
interesting the growth that you mentioned. It really does in a lot of ways kind of mirror what we see at Texas at large, right? We just continue to see this fast-paced growth, and we have to try and figure out a way to, like you said, measure that growth and how it's going to impact the grid, but also how we can start to implement some changes to ultimately hopefully curb that demand growth and our energy side of things. So it's an incredible challenge, and I think looking at the way universities are addressing this is something that we could potentially take to some of the state level policy discussion and say, hey, here's what some of our universities are doing. Maybe we can implement it here. Switching gears a little bit here to kind of more the industry standpoint, Song, you work with BeeUSA, and you guys bring a lot of new technologies to the market, and so I know that's an incredibly challenging, prospect. It's something SPEER we've identified, and we work with some of our manufacturing partners and others to bring some more high tech and new technologies to market, but it becomes challenging from a policy perspective. So I'm interested to hear kind of how BeeUSA collaborates with participants in the market and how you guys bring some of these different solutions to bear.
Okay. Thanks, Noah. It's honored to be on this panel to share, to dialogue. In fact, we are, I'm just representing the industry. We are a vendor, contractor on Austin Energy's rotation list. So that's back to the Hammad. And then we also have a tiny project right now going on with Texas State University. So I'm just glad I can relate. And in fact, my wife got her master's MBA degree from Texas State University.
Go Bobcats.
Yeah. But then come back, she got her master's degree in political science and computer science from Texas A&M University. And I think right now it's on the master degree of finance from University of Houston. So that's the tie back to Texas, the great Texas, what our concern is. And just about myself, I'm a researcher and educator, but also a practitioner. So somehow I God blessed, made to the Association of Energy Engineers Hall of Fame. So that kind of, it's good milestone, feel very proud. And really, it's just lucky. There's so many of us in the energy, being energy professional, day in, day out, working hard, trying to contribute to society, to our own home, and in general, to the world. I was in Boston last week, and that's a national grid. That's another utilities. And then 1 month ago was in Atlanta. We have projects all over the United States, but also in Europe and even some Africa. And I was personally in Dubai, Japan, and South Korea, on Canada. So all I'm saying is, from the industry standpoint, and I got an opportunity trying to bring the truth about all these emerging technologies, policies, market trends. And that's the only way to prevail as a service provider, as the industry. All these years, we figure out the formula is energy services plus quality control. And we have to have both, because that life cycle evaluation, that absolute accountability and that merit, it's gonna be the reputation, gonna be people's trust on this ultimate success. And it is dedication. I was on the owner side because I'm very proud to be at Texas A&M University Energy System Lab for 17 years. I'm working on the whole campus. There's a 100 million documented savings through utility bills, and that really we learned so much, and that is collaboration. with university, with the students, graduate students, student workers, interns, researchers, lab technicians. So our own university is a live laboratory for energy practices and services. And that sometimes is untapped. And I got lucky, traveled all over the United States, served the state agencies, and we work very much with federal agencies. The policy is clear. It's not just energy as a best practice. It's national security, it's independence. It's so profound. And utilities, it's, to me, utilities equivalent to government. It's just my view. All I care is I want to see the world, and I want to be serving as a messenger to our own beloved Texas, because that's where my kids are born, and they gonna be here. And I chose Texas as home 30-some years ago. So I'm more loyal to Texas, and by choice. We are earlier than Elon Musk chose Texas. So all these, and so that's my background. I'm very excited to contribute to this panel. Thank you.
So, Song, you mentioned some really important parts there, and I think kind of the key here is you're talking about significant savings that we can see from energy efficiency. And so I'll kind of open it up to all three of you because you all have different perspectives as it comes into this, but I'll start with Hammad if that's all right. You know, you initially talked about some of the collaboration with universities and other businesses and community organizations, and I was hoping you could maybe get into some specific project or that you saw measurable results and kind of talk about the actual practical outcomes that we see from that project.
Yeah, absolutely happy to. As I said, we have a storied history. Our programs are leader in the country. So it's there are so many different examples of collaboration and partnership, which results in really good benefits for our customers. But one particular example I'm really proud of, and it's kind of still happening. We have a lot of great results in as we speak, and we are looking for, and we are continue to evaluate. Would be a partnership between us and multifamily property owners, tenants, United States Department of Energy, as well as product manufacturers. So essentially, we call it smart home rewards, and it's really classic example of a partnership where you can solve many different problems, some unseen problems or unintended problems that were not in part of your earlier scope, but because of the ecosystem, because so many people are partnering for different reasons, you can address many different issues. So smart home rewards is basically it is thought leadership from Austin Energy in the country, where we are trying to address split incentives in multifamily space, where properties are generally owned by property management firms or property owners, but the residents are generally tenants or renters. So they pay the bill, so they do have incentive to become energy efficient, but because they don't own the building or the mechanical systems, in many cases, the owners don't have incentive to invest in high efficiency equipment. So basically, through these smart home rewards and with the partnership of Department of Energy and their funding, we were able to work on some of these issues. But what we wanted to do, the objective of this partnership was to promote and enhance demand response within multifamily buildings. Demand response essentially is load management technique, where on the days of the greatest need, we want to control the HVAC or water heaters, set them back such that at the time of highest need at the peak, we can conserve. But within multifamily properties, it's a big challenge. So through smart home rewards, we had excellent partnership development with property owners, with the tenants, through DOE funding, and with some product manufacturers like Ecobee and Armada, who have controllers for smart water heaters. We all came together on the table. We were able to do these installations in 1,400 plus units within Austin, all occupied by the tenants and renters of these properties. We were able to use the manufacturer devices and manufacturer ability to explain us how do we connect the smart thermostats with a home area network through the water heater controller. This way, you alleviate the barrier of connectivity. So that was one barrier generally you see in the multifamily property of connectivity. We took care of it through this Armada controller, which has its own hotspot that can connect the smart the thermostat, and essentially make this unit a smart unit. What we saw out of it was, through this automation, through this collaboration, we were able to have, as I said, 1,400 units enrolled. What we saw, what the one single biggest measurable result we saw was that before this pilot, before this collaboration, we were seeing only 5% or so enrollment from multifamily sector into our demand response programs. But through this pilot, we were able to keep almost over 80% of participants within the program, essentially, be part of the demand response program. So we were able to bring a lot of these renters and tenants into the fold of demand response, which otherwise wouldn't be. And it wouldn't have happened had we not had gotten this funding from DOE, but also this agreements, partnership agreements with the property owners, where we explain them that we are and putting these devices in the facilities where tenants needs to agree for us to do it. Let us do it. It's going to help tenants on their electric bills on the days of the greatest need. We don't, since they're all connected, we don't have to have a maintenance. That was a part of the partnership. Like, okay, do we need maintenance? We don't. So that kind of attracted our property owners, and basically so on and so forth. So far, this is an excellent pilot. This is a thought leadership in the country. As I said, we are looking at very high property engagement within the pilot. So I guess from the perspective of this webinar, the important thing was to understand the ecosystem. US DOE is a funding partner. They have requirements of reporting. They wanted us to promote demand response in the multifamily buildings. That was one partner. So their goal was demand response in multifamily buildings. Our goal is to have as many of our customers become energy efficient or demand response ready. And this is a segment where traditionally we don't get enough participation. So that was our goal. Property owners, tenants' goal is very clear. They want to save on the bills, right? So for them, if we are bringing in devices that are connected, that are giving them a seamless customer experience of setting back their temperature and then what have you on the days of greatest need, which results in the bill savings. That's their perspective. Property owners, basically, they have many different things going on. For them to invest in energy efficiency has always been a challenge. So bringing a federal funded grant with expertise that can help retain their tenants for the long time. So if tenants are saving on the electric bills, which is most likely additional disposable income, meaning the tenants are in a better shape and paying rent. So that's their point of view. So that's how we were able to get a very large and diverse group of people with different objectives together to do this pilot. And the results, we are very, very excited about the results. As I said, we have almost 90% of the properties are in the program. So that will be one good example of how to collaborate and get different perspectives on the table.
No, and as a renter, I can tell you I would be in full support of my apartment complex getting involved in one of these types of programs. Andee, I'm interested, Hammad just referenced goal setting. He referenced identifying the appropriate stakeholders involved in these types of projects. From your perspective, from the university, how do you go through the process of identifying those critical components for energy initiatives and really helping to promote them and expand them from a university standing?
We're a little bit in the throes of that right now. We are, quote unquote, our president says, running to R1. So an R1 is a top level research university, and Texas State is poised to reach that point. And it's going to take a lot of coordination to ensure that we have the power supply and backup and things that are necessary to maintain and operate an R1 university. So we are in the throes of figuring out who all needs what. And, you ask a professor, do you need, what kind of level of service do you need? It is all, their research is most important, and everybody will tell you that. And so trying to suss out, how we build this system and how we prioritize service is kind of one of those things we're in the throes of considering right now. Let's see, that didn't answer your question though at all. Help me focus again. Where you?
I think just broadly, you know, from what you do day to day, how do you identify and what you're trying to scale up? Do you have to have the certain components of, like you said, stakeholder, identifying the right stakeholders? Is it important to set your goals? You know, how is it, you know, how you're measuring, what you're measuring, kind of that whole process. I know it gets a little weedy here, but I think there's
Wait, you're asking too many questions. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think it is important to identify the needs in our organization, and those aren't always just service needs. So yes, we're kind of focusing right now on, you know, ensuring that we can serve the R1 needs of our university, but also like the students and the perspectives of, we get a lot of research from students about how students feel about energy on campus, or investment in sustainability and things like that. And so balancing that and showing them that you're a good steward of the resource is always really important. It's interesting at Texas State, there's less focus on energy and more of a focus on water. It has a lot to do with Spring Lake. It's the headwaters of the San Marcos River right there. And drought has been such a hot topic in Texas, and it's, you know, a really important topic. And so it's interesting that we get more participation and more feedback from stakeholders about water. But it's directly related to, you know, we use water for all of our energy service, right? So while they might not understand that that's energy related, water is something that Texas State talks a lot about. And it's interesting, I get pulled into a lot of conversations about that and how we're using it and what we're doing to be efficient with it.
No, you're absolutely right. That water energy nexus is just complete. It's a whole different world, and yet everything's so interconnected. And I feel like every time I step a toe into it, I'm just like, man, this is way more than I kind of was ready for. But it's definitely an important aspect, especially here in Texas, where we have so many critical needs, both from the energy perspective and from kind of our water resources.
Yeah, and part of it is educating those stakeholders that care so much about the water resource, how related it is to the energy efficiency, importance of energy efficiency. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that education piece lends right to this next question for you, Song. You know, you guys are in this process or this business of bringing these new technologies to companies, to universities, to cities and municipalities. How do you effectively work with your partners to help scale up these new technologies through it, you know, whether it's through education, through just kind of showing them directly how this works? You know, what do you see as kind of the most beneficial pieces of what you do at BeeUSA to kind of make these a little more tenable projects? That I know a lot of people will see these technologies and just kind of eyes glaze over, and that's all they want to, you know, it's too much. How do you kind of make it a little more palatable?
Oh, great question. Like at Texas A&M, we were blessed. It's because the utility and energy management department was open-minded enough. They welcomed academia in and welcomed the faculty, staff, and the students in. So it's not just someone just guard their own territory, their own jobs, but open mind to welcome is collaboration. And we're gonna put all these strengths together to conquer. And along the years, even just last week, because my workshop is 5 days, closed door, and everybody just talk about energy. And you got a great opportunity to interact, to learn from each other. In a lot of time, it's a university, engineering director, utility physical plant directors, and sometimes energy managers, sustainability managers, and small cities, all type of representative. And so I constantly be able to confirm the energy management, energy efficiency opportunities are there as a practitioner, as a service provider. And y'all probably don't know, we have dozens of Texas small cities and mid-sized cities, all those energy savings performance contracting, those packages, we are the independent third-party reviewer. So we want to bring the quality control, the independent evaluation that life cycle measurement verification perspective into it. And that is my our tiny business as a service provider to survive. That's the secret. You have to be independent, fair. And because I have the owner's mentality, it's always about protect the owner's needs. And bigger picture, because yes, I got a chance to see the world and work on the project worldwide, and just give you all the statistics. Yeah, by the way, I think y'all probably gonna agree in this room, there's nobody knowing China better than me. So yes, my broken English show my shortcoming, but I do have this rise above cross, just overall view. I believe everybody realize United States 340 million people, the world 8 billion people. So we have only about 4% of world population. That means it's 25 people hold the line. We are the first one in the line. We go to the pie. That's the energy pie. We're going to take a quarter of that pie and leave 3/4 to the next 24 people. That is our overall position in energy. And so all I'm saying is, I know from big or small and every day, there are tons of opportunities in the United States and in Texas, in our cities, in our private and public entities. And whenever I have an opportunity to talk like this, to interact, to study with y'all, I don't shave and I don't get a haircut. And because I have a mantra there, I just want to deliver the mentality. It's called deferred maintenance. So now even talk about the energy management. We all have the bad logs. We don't do the right thing, we let it slip. And that's snowball. And to conquer that, what is the most effective way? That's what Andee talk about it. I think she is still in the middle of it. It's benchmarking. It's just metering and benchmarking. Because we don't judge. We all bring different messages. And sometimes that utilities meters and the utility bills, they have the database and all that data, just get that authority. Doesn't matter who are the stakeholder, get that information. Once we have the benchmarking, like sometimes no pain, no gain. But when it's the pain is quantified, you gotta make people thinking. And the first thing for everybody to collaborate, to work, is to define that owner's project requirements. We need to know where we are. Then we need to get that policy. We have the federal policy, state policy, but we want that local, that organization, that university, that small city, that anybody, that specific owner. And we want to get the vertical, not just the maintenance team, the frustration of the supervisor, superintendent, facility managers. We want all the way to the CFO, the COO, and the president, vice president. We need to have a policy that is defined into owner's project requirements. So that's very successful when we support Austin ISD and support Alamo College District and all the universities, all these entities, because that definition, that needs, that urgency, that priority need to be defined from the top. And that is like, I still play soccer. If I have the cut, that's the soccer game. That's just this past weekend. Whoever scored, yes, I always wonder, I said, that guy, why? It's a teamwork. Why he always celebrate the most and everybody cheer whoever scored there? And how about the person assisted? And that's sometimes crucial. And but that final touch is important. It's go up to the decision maker and define that owner's project requirements. Then we can all fall from there and we can all build the roadmap and takeoffs. Otherwise, it's all limited. So that I want to make that point.
Well, first, I really appreciate the deferred maintenance for haircuts. I take way too long to get my hair cut. I'll be sure to use that Todd, our CEO, next time he yells at me about my hair getting too long. But I think you made a good point. I think the next, it actually is another really great segue into kind of this next section that I think gets to the heart of what this webinar and this discussion is supposed to be about, which is how do we use this cross-sector collaboration? How do we all come together? And ultimately, what are some of the challenges and hurdles that we see? Song, you just talked a little bit about identifying from the property owner's perspective and kind of working your way down from a team. I'm interested, Andee, Hammad, or Song for that matter. I'll just kind of open it up. What are some of the challenges that you see in aligning kind of this idea, to get more energy efficiency out there into the market? What are some of those hurdles, and also what are those strategies that you guys and your organizations have used to overcome those hurdles?
I think one big hurdle is contracting. We talk in this world of energy professionals how important something like a performance contract is, but then you start to take it internally, and you start to talk to your procurement folks about performance contracting. They're like, "Oh no, we don't contract that way." Yeah, no. You're going to have to go out and get 3 bids, and then we'll talk about what projects exactly you're going to be working on. And that's not how a performance contract works, And so I think procurement is a big one. And then like that deferred maintenance, exactly, like trying to get ahead of that and understand the value of going ahead and getting these projects done, whether or not you have to use a Lone Star loan or find different funding, and getting them done because of that return on investment. And then figuring out how to fix the silos so that when FPDC, Facilities Planning and Design, builds or designs a new building, they're not cutting value engineering pieces out that are going to take away the efficiency of it down the road, because that's one pot of money, because we're not thinking about this other pot of money. So yeah. So we need to cross-sector collaborate so that we can break down those issues.
Yeah, definitely. Similarly, contracting is a challenge. Whenever we're talking about cross-sector collaboration, there are different organizations who are moving on their pace, or who wants to move on their pace, right? Especially working with Austin Energy, which is a municipal utility. Our pace is different. Giving the example of the Smart Home Rewards program, our pace is different. Federal government and its funding has a very different pace. Our business partners, the manufacturers who brought their devices, of course, they want to move things very fast, as they are looking for greater returns, whereas property owners and tenants have a different pace. So I think the challenge here in a cross-sector collaboration is about understanding different point of views and paces, like what works for different parties, and try to find a win-win solution there. A partnership can become very fragile if one partner is superimposing their needs, because the way partnership will thrive when different parties will get to achieve their goals. It's just like it's a Venn diagram of many different entities, and the best area is where everyone is winning, right? So that's what I think, in my opinion, biggest hurdle is, and in my opinion, the way to alleviate this hurdle, just like any other hurdle, would be like open and honest communication, the right kind of goal setting. For example, in our case, if the funding is coming from DOE has a very specific reporting requirement. So being very transparent, very open to our business partners that this is what we need to do. Then we are installing equipment in people's home, which they don't know, behind the panel, for that example, or on the water heater. And then in many cases, we will be controlling those devices in the event of need. That is something that needs to be discussed transparently with the tenants, and with the property managers or the property owners. Similarly, properties had concern that, okay, you are installing these devices, what will happen in the long run with maintenance? But then explaining them that this is all connected through a hotspot of a device, the maintenance is not needed. So once those things were clear, it was easy to move forward. So I guess, if I have to just generalize it, the general statement here would be that there are different entities in a partnership. They have their own objectives, and that's how it must stay. I think the best partnership is when everyone gets to achieve their objective, and the way to do it is through the open and honest communication, setting the right expectations from the get-go, and and then course correction as needed, and often communication. So that's just, I know it's making things very simpler, but just giving the context where I'm coming from. Yeah.
For me, I'm not that much concerned because it's all based on meritocracy. These are all professionals. These are all business. one way or the other, we have to figure out. For whoever cannot figure out, doesn't matter your owner side or your service provider side, you just won't survive. That's it. And meanwhile, we are steward. We are adults taking care of the world for our children and grandchildren. And they're gonna face something completely different because of technology involvement and all the whole world involvement. And so we sometimes we just cannot be so selfish. It's not just a sales job. And that's and again, this is what's gonna happen. When we have the quantum computation, that's gonna be a game changer. So the world changes so fast. We should treasure the moment we still have the job and we enjoy the experience. And one thing I want to point out, I do see these days, because different entities, doesn't matter owner and service provider, industry, and all the stakeholder, they all have their own agenda. And that is a luxury. So instead of we have some failure or some unpleasant situation, or even the beginning of the engagement, we more rely on attorneys, lawyers, and accountants to facilitate that platform. We probably want some independent third-party facilitator, someone stay fair and have technical background, so we can really master plan and host and facilitate and support, advise, and just independently being neutral, being fair, and just observer and document everything. And that's where it comes to the transparency. So just think about with so-called agentic AI. We gonna have to welcome them in, and they gonna listen to every conversation and all the document, and they could screen it, process it in a blink of second. And that way we gonna get an emotional part, our own corner perspective, and our lack of memory, this and that, and people come and go. So that kind of facilitation gonna set the right groundwork, the framework for more productive partnership and collaboration, and the right positioning, the value, the resources, more better optimized, instead of play the political games or whatever business tricks. So I think that's gonna eventually happen. So we are basically training that. Instead of we train a Tesla car, after iterations become autonomous, we are in that process, but our time is running out. So I really treasure all this interaction shaping up as opportunity of the human experience, because we may not have that long be able to serve that role.
Well, we only have a few minutes left before I want to open it up for audience Q&A, but I have two quick questions I kind of want to open up to you guys. Song actually just started hitting on the kind of the first one I wanted to ask, which is, what are some of the new technologies and policies and potential market trends that you see potentially shaping how partnerships are developed and kind of live through the next couple of years, what these partnership models might look like? You know, Song had mentioned the effectiveness of utilizing AI technologies and AI softwares in order to kind of help automate some of those processes. Are there any other potential opportunities that you all see as far as new technologies or new policies that your organizations are keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, to just building upon Song's point, yes, data and artificial intelligence, predictive analytics is a key theme across all industries, and we are no different. From talking very locally to Austin Energy, our customers and our programs, energy efficiency program perspective, I think one key partnership that needs to develop, or we are working on it. We have a way of it is to use data to to more smartly target our customers who are in need of certain programs. So energy efficiency programs, we offer something for everyone. See, our programs are funded by our customers, so we want to have opportunities for all of our customers, whether they are small business or large business. They live in a single family home or a multi-family facilities. They own their home or they rent their home, right? They are a hospital or airport. We want to have something available for everyone. But in today's world with limited constraints, with limited budgets and other constraints, the use of data to have more more precise targeting of certain programs and services to the right recipients is very important. Like, for example, we have been running ECAD, the Energy Disclosure Act in Austin for a long time. We have a lot of data on it about buildings, about homes. The recent Gen Plan policy is about promoting electrification, trying to get more and more of our customers to heat pumps, electrified space heating, electrified water heating. Of course, air conditioning is always electric. So going to moving people towards heat pumps. So with the help of the right kind of a data and the partnership that can use this data and help us target the customers who have resistance heat, are more they are set to get more benefit from our programs in heat pumps, right? So that kind of a partnerships we are definitely looking to develop. Then further, keeping the same theme of electrification, heat pumps is a newer technology compared to high efficiency air conditions. The installation of heat pumps is a lot more technical. It requires a lot more a lot more precision to the install, the quality install, the way it needs to be installed. So to that point, the partnership that I am very much interested in developing is like with our contractors who are doing this in and out, with us, the program administrator, what we can do to help them install, do a better install, who we can bring in, whether it's a SPEER. Thanks to SPEER, we have done some educational classes, but how we can expand the educational partnerships. Do we partner with with organizations like National Comfort Institute or BPIs, as we can't just police or we cannot check every project. So we need to have certain standards, minimum standards absorbed into our programs. We need to follow certain minimum standards that all contractors follow, such that, heat pump installations is optimal. So for that matter, those are the partnerships we are looking at, as to, train and educate our contractors, but who should be training and contracting, what kind of standards we should bring in, such that the end user get the efficiency that we are promising them. So these are the things very locally we have interest in, and I see a lot of work being done over the next couple of years with the goals that we have from our resource generation plan.
You mentioned partnerships, and one of the new partnerships that I think was interesting came about. Our sustainability manager was vacant for a little while last year, and so I was voluntold to take over as sustainability manager for the university. And we had been set up to host the Texas Regional Alliance for Campus Sustainability, the TRAC Summit. So having an energy focused background, I kind of led our TRAC Summit towards energy as a conversation and kind of the theme for the event. And I think it's something that we overlook as energy professionals, is how important that sustainability world is, and those students who are learning in the sustainability world, but also like our sustainability offices on campus. It's something that I didn't really realize until I was in the throes of it, how valuable that partnership is. And Sean will weigh in on this, but that's how TUP is partnered now with TRAC. And so TUP is a part of the TRAC Summit, and that's so valuable for students to learn, for that sustainability student and those sustainability offices to learn about energy efficiency and take that as a focus, because on the other side, it allows the utilities and to have the support from the campus side, from the student side, that push that we need to kind of drive the interest and the project support, and really the funding to get those projects done that don't always have the support that you need. So just wanted to bring up that cool partnership that's kind of growing, that sometimes gets overlooked.
I'll take my 2 minutes. Starting 1990s, we started measuring carbon dioxide with our hand calibrate tools doesn't matter job sites or personal vacation, you just become a habit. And also working on data centers. And 5-10 years ago, the market trend is digitization and electrification. And these days, the newer round of policy and government and marketing trends, what I see the most impressive is nuclear policy related. That definitely changed the whole horizon. It means so much. And the other one is deregulation on utilities and almost deregulation on everything. So the world changed so much. To me, those, let's say, cryptocurrency and digital currency, that really reflected all the money we printed as a country, as a nation, and because the US, the Federal Reserve Bank is almost a world bank. So when we have the accountability, irresponsible type behavior, that basically reflects the government format gonna change too. So there's so much going on. The thing we know is we don't know what we don't know. That's what I want to bring here. That's why every day is a journey, and every project, every program, if we absolutely state the truth, the facts, and data-driven, and also understanding we are just trying to figure out with only part of the information, and plan like that. That's the best we can do. Definitely, it's not acceptable, but that's the iteration, the moment we are in. Yeah.
So Sean, I will go ahead. We only have about 4 minutes left, and I'll turn it over to you, see if we have any questions.
This group is fairly quiet. We don't have any questions. You must have like asked a lot of questions to cover it.
Well, I do have one final
Answer.
question then that should be pretty easy for everyone.
Okay.
Which is, how do people watching this now or in the future on YouTube, if they want to reach out to you all to partner and just to pick your brain or to potentially have opportunities for projects, how would they go about reaching your organizations, and what would you suggest is kind of the best way to go through that process?
Yeah, with Austrian Energy, anything to do with energy efficiency, I'm happy to be the person people can reach out. Otherwise, our website austrienenergy.com has quite a bit of information about how to get services on our programs, residential or commercial programs, and also, contact information there if someone has a good idea about helping us improve our programs, expand our programs. Feel free to reach out in one of all of these methods, and we definitely value industry input and collaboration.
Yeah, my answer is fairly similar. We have a website, the utilities website on our texasstate.edu webpage, but I can also be reached by email. My first name, last name at txstate.edu.
For me, just please connect me on LinkedIn. I do a lot of volunteer work for national labs, for Department of Energy, and we never refuse local work. When I say local, that means not just Austin, but Texas is local. So we can chat and virtual, and if you want to have lunch, I'll treat you lunch because I work for food.
I appreciate that as well. Well, thank you all so much for your input today. Your insights have been incredibly helpful to understanding how partnerships work, how we can work together across different industries from that cross-sectional perspective. I know I've learned a lot, and I really appreciate your guys' input. Sean, did I miss anything?
You covered it. I will just go ahead and say thank you all for what you do for the great state of Texas, and please continue to do the amazing jobs that you are. And I'll end this with a screen on how you can connect with SPEER. And so I'll share that screen, and thanks again for your time.